think that's straight.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the House of Holocrons podcast. We're back after a nice little hiatus or vacation, some would say. We had a good time, and we got to enjoy May the 4th, and now are currently deep into the Revenge of the 5th. And Star Wars has finally gotten a new drop. Mandalorian is over, but we have Visions and Young Jedi. Not only, of course, all the awesome merchandise that recently just came out, like a lot of merchandise and a lot of things were able to be pre-ordered too. I know I myself pre-ordered a whole bunch of Black Series figure. My wallet is not going to be happy with me come like I think summer and fall of next year. You pick anything up?
I didn't really pick up too much.
Yeah.
I just transferred jobs and wasn't sure when I'd get my next paycheck. I
I
did
understand
buy.
that.
I was lucky enough. I did find a Black Series. I was out on my lunch, actually, so I did pick this up at Walmart.
Ooh, lucky. Very nice. Very nice. As you can see, I just picked up a Luthen rail. That was my out in the wild find.
I yeah I was lucky enough to find a Purge Trooper because
Those
that
purge
one.
troopers were
Yeah.
hot commodity. They went off the shelf really quick.
Well, any usually any kind of trooper goes
Yeah.
pretty quick. So
And then we have the big one, of course, is Visions. We'll talk about that a little later, guys, because Visions is amazing. This second volume has been so gorgeous, and the stories have been really good. But before we get too deep into that, I want to say to those of us who are playing Jedi Survivor, no spoilers, no worry, no spoilers. But to those of us playing Jedi Survivor, I did not expect this much High Republic lore to be in this game. This game has been filled with High Republic stuff. And now it seems like a lot of other media is getting filled with High Republic stuff. And a lot of these Sith storylines are starting to kick off, much like what we see in Visions 2. And then, of course, we
yeah,
have the Acolyte coming out and stuff. So it
there's a
seems
lot
like,
of Sith and Visions.
yeah, it seems like the upcoming parts of Star Wars are High Republic and just dark side and Sith. So that's where the name of the episode comes from. We have the High Republic and the Phantom Empire, because at this moment in time, the Sith might not be operating in esteemed glory like they used to, but they do still operate in an underground empire that they've built to help topple the Jedi eventually. So it'd be interesting to see all this kind of stuff, and I'm always down for more Sith stuff, 100%. And we're getting a lot of really crazy dark side stories in these most recent books, comics, a lot of it. Like, things are not good in a galaxy far, far away all the time. It is Star Wars, not Star Always Be Happy. We have,
Yeah, it does seem like a shift more towards the Sith that isn't the classic villains that we just seen repeated over and over, which is great.
right.
I think that's one good thing about dipping into the High Republic's going to help with that. And we got the Star Wars. Is it the Younglings?
Yes, Young
Youngling
Adventures, Young
Adventures.
Jedi
Yeah,
Adventures.
and that one's in the High Republic. I actually
Mm-hmm.
watched a little bit of that. I haven't had enough time. I've been really, really busy. I
Yeah.
was lucky I got to finish Visions. But when I watched the Young Adventures, it actually doesn't seem like that bad of a show.
No, it
I
was
don't know if you
enjoyable.
watched it.
Of course,
I
I have
didn't
a
think it
1 year
was
old.
watchable for an adult, and I was like, man, this is just like this is like a typical kid show, like
Mm-hmm.
on. Yeah, I thought it was for like really, really little kids, and it's not that bad.
But my 1 year old loves it, and that's what his first introduction to Star Wars is really going to be. That I feel like is going to hook him. And if that's how it works, that's how
That's
it works. And I am okay with it because I am just happy to see him become a Star Wars fan. And I know that all this stuff isn't going to get sold in a garage sale whenever, you know, I get put in the cookie bin or the old folks home. He'll
I
keep
think
some of it.
I think that's perfect for the High Republic because we get so much more variety with the Jedi characters.
Yeah, so much more. So much more. So many more different lightsabers, different styles of fighting. I mean, we have a lightsaber shield. We have a lightsaber whip. We have a
Yeah.
lightsaber like Claymore, wielded by a Wookiee. That's dope. And we have so many
Well,
crazy things.
well, just race it like the alien races are a lot more varied. I mean, they
Yeah.
could have done that in like pre-Republic or like early Republic, but the problem is the Jedi's in early Republic didn't go out like they do in the High Republic, so that sets up more of a variety of adventure for these
Well,
young Jedi.
yeah, that's why the High Republic's been so amazing because stories of like Porter Engle, the Blade of Bardada, this amazingly powerful duelist of a Jedi Master, who is single-handedly holding off entire armies and just doing crazy feats that are just mind-shattering. But then also, it's only because there are no Jedi in the Outer Rim. This is the first time the Outer Rim's been involved in the Republic whatsoever. And this is why I love the High Republic so much, because you don't see that in the Star Wars that we've all we've been given. So even though it's amazing, it's all the same galaxy. This feels like the galaxy's new. The people are new, the languages are new, the interactions are very different, and all the
Yeah.
enemies are very different because it's not the big bad Sith running everything.
Different but familiar, which is
Hmm.
good.
But they
And
reference back to really
it's
cool stuff with the Sith. I mean, like the Draengeir, which are this giant, sentient, all ravenous plant people. They were in league with the Sith at one time until they were betrayed by them. Like it's really cool old lore.
we also get a lot more color with the High Republic that
Oh, so much.
um it the Jedi are a lot more bland in the newer stuff and the well and the I guess old classic, but newer in
Yeah.
the storyline. So
I know if I need to pick up that Star Wars timeline book, and if I do, we could almost do an entire podcast just reading through that thing. That book is so filled with facts. I can't wait to get my hands on it. The literature is really being pushed back out with Star Wars. There was a dry spell for a while there, like the art books and stuff. They weren't as like numerous or as well seen, but now I know with Mandalorian and Kenobi, people
yeah.
are really loving those art books and the behind the scenes making of kind of stuff. I'm so happy Disney Plus is making more of that, and I want them to do that with everything. Visions, even like I would love to see behind the scenes stuff more with the really awesome studios in Visions, which
Well,
again,
yeah,
beautifully done.
it helps that we have more of a storyline to sell now. Because that's Disney.
Yeah,
I think um we had kind of a dry spell before Mandalorian. Um, so with Mandalorian, you got more of this stuff pushed out, so that was good.
yeah, yeah. The Mandalorian has definitely brought enough fresh blood in for businesses to see the investment process and like how Star Wars is still kicking and bringing in a lot of money, especially now in the figures and the collectibles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So as long as that
I'm
keeps happening, Star Wars will never
yeah,
die.
I'm honestly glad that they decided to pick a new era like the High Republic to
Yes,
start
yeah,
writing about
yeah.
because there's only so much you can do in the same roughly same era. Because the problem with the Mandalorian era, and then we get into kind of the Obi-Wan uh, Rebels slash the Clone Wars
Hmm.
post Clone Wars era is where you're stuck in a limited time frame with limited characters because
Yeah,
there's so many plot points you got to acknowledge and there's so much you can tell between the windows even the Mandalorian era there is a big time frame but yet there's still that chunk between Force Awakens and and Return of the Jedi. So
and you can't make the enemies too
yeah,
big. Like you can't make anything
no,
so
you
crazy
can't.
that they
We can't
would.
make
Why would they not
anything
be there in the
yeah,
movie? Eh,
impactful. Yeah,
Yeah,
why didn't they mention the terror of the Yuuzhan Vong that somehow showed up right before the First Order? Why didn't they speak about that? Well,
right.
like they didn't because it didn't happen.
Yeah, and
Also, you would
that's.
see the galaxy a lot more different if there was a huge major threat.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what's so limiting about picking that time frame. So when you get into writing, yeah, it gives them a lot more flexibility.
Oh yeah, and the High Republic has been super awesome. Like it really has been. Even the young adult, like the two blue books you can see here, I still got to read Path of Vengeance. The young adult novels have been almost more like bone chilling and like crazy than the adult novels. The adult novels have been awesome, but like there's nothing that crazy going on in them that hasn't happening in the rest of it. And like there are so many really cool enemies. These things known as the Nameless, which can literally consume the Force and are like a Jedi's worst nightmare because when they hunt down a Force user, they do so by instilling them with fear and doubt and worry, and it cripples them. So it's like this is like the ultimate epitome of fear and the ultimate weapon against the Jedi. So it has to be taken care of course. Phase 3 is the last phase of the High Republic, which will be coming out, I believe, here in this fall or not too long, really. It's going to be, Phase 3 is coming out soon. And they're going to have to wrap a lot of crazy stuff up because there is a lot going on in the galaxy with the Nihil and all of that, which, man, again, if you also are just now getting into the High Republic because of Jedi Survivor, welcome. You have a lot of books to catch up on, but that's awesome because you can get them on Audible, you can get them all over the place. They're totally worth it. And Jedi Survivor is going to do an amazing thing, I think, with the High Republic and bringing in new fans.
I hope the studio is able to get the good patches in so the PC players can enjoy it. I mean, I hear some are. I think it's just certain equipment, a lot of the newer stuff. But
a few of the other people I know that play on PC haven't had those problems, but I know they are persistent with many other people.
yeah,
Xbox already got a pretty big update.
it's. I hear that the only newer graphics cards that are working with it is AMD.
Oh
I think
yeah.
it's mostly the Nvidia ones that are struggling. But I
Okay.
don't know. I haven't personally messed with it.
Yeah.
I was gonna wait till they had the full patch fix out before I even started playing.
It's a lot of fun, guys. It's a lot of fun. But man, there's so much High Republic stuff. Oh, it's so
Yeah.
gorgeous. And that's another thing too, is like the lightsaber now that I've built is very like High Republic-esque. Like it has all this Electrum gold plating and stuff on it. So pretty. So pretty. I think that the High Republic is a really good thing, but also getting into the dark side more and showing it really is a certain point of view. And the dark side might be corrupting and it leads to evil, but it doesn't start there all the time. And
Yeah,
so to kind of get into some of the Vision stuff, that's kind of what Visions had a lot of. Like there was a lot of duality talk in Visions.
That's what I was hoping with the Acolyte when you start getting, because I hate the absolute. I mean, I like having an absolute evil, but and that's one thing I also liked about Rogue One a little bit. We got to look at, there may be some bad people, but there's still normal people on the other side. There's so I like this idea that or like somebody getting the Sith, which we see in one of them where one of the characters kind of dips into some of the Sith, and it wasn't like she was a good person and good intentions. That was the one that kind of got whisked away in a ship.
That's my favorite one. Yeah, I'm gonna go over to that one heavily. That one blew. I loved. Was it Screecher's Reach?
So seeing that, I believe so. I might have to pull that up so I can get an idea of what each one is.
I believe it was Screecher's Reach, but it's awesome. No, it was super stellar. The first one is they're honestly all so amazing in their own aspect. I don't feel like there was. It sounds bad saying this because there wasn't really a weak spot.
A different favorite one. So, we want to discuss favorite ones.
Because in Volume 1, my favorite one was the Ninth Jedi, hands down. Like that was easy for me.
I don't remember a lot about the first one, to be honest. So I might have to go back and rewatch the first one.
Oh man, the Ninth Jedi was so good.
I just remember the standoff with the umbrella thing and.
Yeah, that was Ronin, the first one, but
yeah, that's the only one I remember just because it was pretty. They had like figures out for it and stuff.
Yeah. Let's see, episodes.
So
Sith is the first one. That one's really awesome. The art style is really pretty. I really, really dig that art style.
So each one of these studios is all different parts of the world,
and it shows.
It shows, and I think one thing that we get a bit differently is because they're from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Some of these are a lot more smaller. I feel, and you see it in Sith, that these studios went all out trying to kind
Yeah.
of show off as like, because some of these studios, a lot of people, this is the first time, witnessing anything from the studio, so
Mhm.
they went all out. Sith did, I mean, I don't think there was any art that was like half like poorly done. It was
Yeah, everything was perfect for what it needed to be.
they were definitely trying to get noticed.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't have one that I hated. I had ones that I liked more than the others.
Hmm.
My personal favorite is the Bandits of Golok.
Okay.
That's my favorite one, and that's the one that is kind of Indian themed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where it starts off on the train. I just I I didn't want to say it wasn't that one had to me had probably the best animation.
Hmm.
It was really close to the Clone Wars animation,
True.
but that's not why I liked it. The story was really well. I really and they also had some of the best music. Also, I
Yeah.
think that one had probably the strongest music out of all of them. They were all good, but that one had really strong music.
Yeah, Screecher's Reach was definitely my number one. Like 110 bajillion%. That one was just so good. I did not see it going where it did, and when it went there,
Oh
it
yeah,
it it took me by the ultimate amount of surprise, and I
she,
loved every
she kept talking
second
to the
of it.
medallion, and then it actually starts talking back.
Yeah, takes out that
So,
grotesque phantom witch Sith lady, and then bam, all of a sudden there's this beautiful savior, and everyone's like, oh yeah, she's going, oh, and those eyes turn red when she's like, no, you can come alone, and I was like,
so
oh, she's gonna keep, and then yeah, you will keep that
yeah.
saber because it is now yours. I was like, it was, oh my god, she's a dark side apprentice. Ooh, and spoilers, like, sorry, obviously, my bad,
I mean, it's
but.
it's not that big. Their visions are like they're like 10 minutes long.
I know a lot of people
So
probably haven't watched all of them yet, but at the same time, guys, you no matter what I just said, you need to watch Creatures Reach because it is so
and
well done.
and in case you don't know this, none of this is canon. This is just
Yeah,
kind of fun storytelling by other studios. Some get their own take on it. Some pretty strange.
yeah.
Like I Am Your Mother is really strange, but it's still a good show. It's actually
It's
one
Wallace
of the
and
ones I really
Gromit in
enjoy.
space. I loved it. It really reminded me of Wallace and Gromit. And my wife absolutely loved it. As a new mother, she thought that that one
Yeah.
was amazing and connected with the Twi'lek mom hardcore.
This is what my wife says. She said just probably this is probably just his favorite
Yep.
episode. My it's funny because when I was watching them, um, the two that I liked, well, I liked a lot the Bandits of Golok.
Yeah.
The other two that were close running was I Am Your Mother and Spy Dancer.
Spy Dancer is
Um,
great.
Spy Dancer had just some great fighting sequences. And I was gonna say those were like my like 2 second, and then I watched The Pit, and The Pit was I would say Pit's my number two for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that was probably the darkest one of all of them as well.
Yeah. Which
This
again is so good. It's so good.
this the guy. This is the one where the guy died.
Hmm.
The Empire threw him back in the pit, and they made him. They forced him to mine, and they just left him there. That's so
Oh,
messed.
dude, right? Okay, bye. Climb out if you can. Don't
Oh,
care.
that's all. We get reached the bottom. Let's go.
Yep. We're in a perfect like prison cell too. It's like, all right, well, we don't want to do anything with you guys, so
Literally dug your own
just
grave.
die, I guess. Yeah, right. It's a lot more than 6 feet under, way down there. So that was another really good one. But again,
Mm.
Star Wars isn't afraid to go dark, and the more I see that, the happier I get because it makes me know that the acolyte isn't gonna be kind of darkness. Like Acolyte's going to be some super crazy dark side stuff, I bet, which is just going to open the envelope for like more things in the past with the Sith, maybe the old Sith empires and Old Republic. We're getting the Dawn of the Jedi movie. And if we're getting a Dawn of the Jedi kind of movie where like everything's originating, I feel like those dark
Yeah.
side Jedi who create the first schism, that needs to be covered, and they're gonna need to be vicious people or like just really, I don't want to say demented, but questioning.
One.
You know, like the fall of Lucifer and the Christianity, or Loki or something, and all kinds.
Since
That's
yeah, since this is all like their own version of it now,
right.
I'm so curious. We have no idea how it's gonna look. I'm
I
wondering
will admit,
how.
I better see a Junta Paul. Like, come on, just
I
one of those
wonder, are
dudes
they
needs to be
gonna
named a Junta Paul.
are they gonna have like early lightsabers? Are they
Yeah,
gonna have like
Proto Sabers or
vibroblades?
Vibroblade. Yeah, man.
I would love if they did lightsabers that
Mhm.
had the old Ralph McQuarrie battery pack.
Oh yeah, the Proto Sabers.
That'd be so cool. Have the cord, the tube in the back. Do you
Number
know
one
originally
target.
that's where the tube on the back of stormtroopers? That's from the original lightsaber design.
Oh yeah,
Because the stormtroopers originally had lightsabers, and that's what they have that weird cylinder on their back. That's from the original lightsaber Ralph McQuarrie design.
that's fun that they kept it. Yeah, I loved it in the original art. Like Han had one. Everyone had a lightsaber. They were
Yeah,
just everywhere.
and
I'm
Luke originally
happy.
had a red lightsaber. That's the funny
Yeah,
part.
yeah, and was a girl. The original Star Killer before it was even a Skywalker.
Luke's Starkiller.
Yeah. And that's one of the beautiful things about Star Wars is it has so much of this old art that they're taking from too. Like when you look at the new Super Commandos from Mandalorian finale and stuff, those are hardcore, like the first Boba Fett and like kind of styles of
It was
that.
yeah the Ralph McQuarrie Boba Fett design
Hmm.
with the rebreather. Which they did add that helmet Obi-Wan
Yeah.
wears, that exact helmet in the Clone Wars as a disguise. And then they did the Super Commandos, which the whole armor
Hmm.
looked like the later design, with the little triangle on the head. Um, which you see, what's his name? Where the head of the Super Commandos.
Oh, Gar
Um,
Saxon.
yeah, he's basically wears the exact
Hmm.
prototype
True.
helmet.
And that
Yeah,
was there's a lot of really fun stuff like that, and that's why I think things like Visions are so healthy and really good for the fandom and Star Wars in general, is because it allows us to just play around again, and kind of like be fans. Like as much as I as much as I know I need to be releasing my Let's Plays and stuff of Jedi Survivor, I'm also just enjoying being a fan again and just playing it.
yeah, it's a great time. We have so much coming out.
Yeah.
Um, they're announcing soon the next. They're voting on it right now. I don't know if you know the next MercCon, Mandalorian Mercs convention.
Oh yeah, I saw the vote has begun for that.
Some of them are pretty close to us, so
Hey, that'd be awesome if there was one pretty close by and make it a lot easier to, take one of those conventions, try and get my kit ready for approval.
uh, yeah, we just you got so much going on. Did you want to discuss any of the episodes further?
Let's
I
see.
don't know if you knew the studio does the Pit actually does have a lot of experience doing Star Wars animation.
Oh yeah.
So that was the only studio that
So
did.
I did also the Bandits of Golok. I really enjoyed. I loved the villain. Not to give away too much, but very very amazing design on that bad guy.
I
Very
think we
awesome.
can, if you want, I think we can go ahead and discuss them.
Oh,
I we can go to the
yeah.
point
So,
where,
but there is an Inquisitor. Yeah, an awesome again,
yeah,
very Indian inspired Inquisitor, and it
really
is
awesome
again great
design though.
fight. Great design with the old lady Jedi, who rips her cane into a cool dual
Yeah, I
sabers.
just, I mean,
Um,
even leading up to that, the train scene was really cool.
yeah.
Um, but trains are big important to Indian culture because they most people travel through that.
Oh man, it's crazy
So
when you see the videos of like
so
200
the
people in like a 5 car train.
so to see the kind of the bandits, and then
Mm-hmm.
them, and then also the two children trying to escape the empire in the
Yeah.
same process. And then yeah, it's just a great sequence of events. And then yeah, we lead to an Inquisitor showing up, which is unexpected but really cool. And he had awesome design.
Oh yeah.
I said the whole thing. It's so much great music in that one. I was like,
Really gorgeous music.
there's no way I couldn't say that one was my favorite. And and honestly, probably the most cleanest animation out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which goes to show the the Indian, which I believe there might be Malaysian, which is, I don't know. The studio wasn't from India, but if it if they do work with India,
Mm-hmm.
they they're people that make the different their stuff is almost as big as United States Hollywood,
Yeah.
which they call it Bollywood. Um,
I'd say the other one that I really enjoyed a lot that I'd love to talk about more is probably In the Stars. That one I just claymation and yet also 3D, and it was a beautiful blend of like 3D and claymation. Like
oh
sometimes
yes,
you
this
could I couldn't even tell which one was which sometimes. And I really honestly thought it was the little girl that was force sensitive for the longest time. And major spoiler for that one, when the sister is found to be the one who was hiding it all, and like that was there was a lot of power. Again, there was so much emotion in these Vision episodes. Right, but again, I believe the last Visions was just more fun, just more of like quick stories with a quick resolution. Emotion was still in it. Again, the Ninth Jedi was amazing. Rhapsody of
no,
Tatooine was great. The Ronin and the old man, like all of those, they were good, but they didn't have the impactfulness that like these ones did. And maybe I just need to rewatch it and
this Indian.
put myself into the story. But man, Volume 2 I feel like had some of the best written stories that just really, really hit me hard with emotion, like real hard.
Yeah, the one that did the Indian based one, they are an Indian animation studio.
Okay.
And they've probably I can see why they did so well is they've worked on DreamWorks stuff like Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, Madagascar, and How to Train Your Dragon. So
Oh,
they've got
cool.
a lot of experience with this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then the where's the okay, here it is. And then the other studio did the Pit. They've already worked with Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
They've also done a lot of the Netflix animations like Attack on Titan, Castlevania, One Piece. They did
That
some of
makes
the others.
sense.
I think they
That
did some
almost
Clone Wars and
anime,
some
almost
Rebels.
3D. Yeah, I've seen
Oh,
that a lot
oh,
there.
they did a lot of the Resistance series.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. I can see that art
And
style in there.
and then we got Cartoon Saloon, which is the one you like, Creatures Reach, and they're an Irish studio.
Yeah,
Um,
and I love the characters were all red-headed little gingers with super thick Irish accents. It was great.
they have a lot of stuff they
Hee
put out, but I don't recognize any
Oh,
of it,
such a
so
good
might
time.
have to look into that further. And then the Punk Robot's the one that did the Into the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of them before. They've done some game trailers and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Um, there's a Latin American animation studio from Chile.
absolutely amazing though. They were really all super great. Tell us in the comments down below, or put in the live comment section, guys. What was your favorite episode of Visions, and why? Or if you
Yeah,
don't have a reason why, we'll talk about maybe why we should have a reason.
I mean, one thing that's different from I mean, there's some good in the first ones, but
Mm-hmm.
there is some on here that I would like. I would like to see a further
Oh yeah,
content from.
like make it into a
So,
full story.
I mean, the Spy Dancer heavily reminded me of which the movie Inglorious Bastards is based off of, about the French
Oh, okay.
theater. She owned a
Full of
theater. And
assassins.
yeah, well, no, she killed um a bunch of
High ranker. Yeah.
those yeah the
Georgiana.
officers. They were playing movies
Mhm.
and stuff, and they would bring them in, and they hated them, but they were secretly um it was a front so they can bring them all in, and then they burned the whole thing down and killed a bunch of officers, which is really similar storyline.
Yeah.
uh, it all goes awry but ends up
Oh
working.
man, what a powerful thing it ends with too. I did not expect like when she finally gets
Oh,
up and
the twist at the end.
yeah,
Yeah,
she gets
I
up
didn't
there and
put
like
that.
is about to plunge her wrist blade into this imperial dickhead's head
I
and
didn't get it till the
blam.
very end. I
Oh
was like, it
really?
should. I was like, well, not to the very end, but like even when she was like not killing him, I couldn't figure out why she wouldn't
Oh
kill him,
yeah. Yeah.
and I didn't put two and two together. I was
It
like,
took me a bit, but yeah, then I eventually was like, wait a minute, he's
that
covering
was
his
a pretty
eye.
crazy twist. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really awesome one. Again, that was the thing. I just feel like the stories in this one, not that they were written better, they were just like maybe given more care is the proper term, or because they felt longer too.
Yeah.
They were all over like 15 minutes, which it was great,
Well,
or close to 15.
it was close to more like 10 because the credits were pretty long.
Yeah, true.
Um, so they were more like 10 minutes long each, but still, yeah, it was great. Even yeah, I don't really have a complaint with any of them.
Hmm.
There's some that I didn't like as much as the others, but they weren't. It wasn't to mean that I didn't like them.
I will say
Um,
Sith, even though I didn't like it, it did feel more like I was like, this feels more like a showcase for a
yeah,
studio than an episode of something.
especially the very beginning with all the art stuff.
At
Um,
first, I was like, is this in the Force or is this actually happening? I'm confused. It's pretty. It
it
looks
seemed like it was
nice.
all in our head
Right.
where I'm at.
But I have no idea.
But yeah, it was crazy because it would like go between this like artistic with all the splash of colors,
Hmm.
and we get some cool like sci-fi designs with the arm and the bike
Yeah.
and the droid, and then we get the awesome Sith design, which I figured would be one of your favorite designs as the Sith from that one.
The Sith's mask and stuff like that. The weird side pigtails. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, the pigtails are weird, but the rest of it, I was like,
The
I can
saber
see
was
you really
really nice.
liking it.
They had the very like Castilian,
Yeah,
Spanish.
the cross guard.
Yeah.
So-
Now she had this crazy like dual blade curved samurai sword looking
Oh
thing.
yeah, and then well, he didn't know it was dual blade till near the end when she was
Yeah.
like, "I'm not Jedi," and then it's a red blade on the other end.
Again, there's just like Sith everywhere, and I loved it. There was so
Yeah.
much darkness in this, but Screecher's Reach was still it still just shines out to me whenever it all like connected and she like killed the thing, and I'm like, oh wow, she straight up killed that lady. Oh, that's cool. It's an evil monster. Then the ship comes down, like again, the medallion's talking to her.
Yeah, that was yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And I didn't. And then I was also like, she's probably not gonna leave, is she? And then she left. I was like, good. That's the whole point. You go be a Sith, get enough power, come back, free them all. Do what Anakin did.
it's crazy that you kind of do this almost like Jedi because we get some of the others like we get with the we get a couple where it's
Hmm.
the kind of new initiate becoming being accepted into the Jedi Order. And so it's a similar situation, but you don't realize it's the Sith until the end. And even
Right.
she doesn't know it's the Sith. So I think that would be a fun storyline. I would love to see pushed further and
Yeah.
maybe into like a novel or something like that.
A graphic novel, or for the studio's sake, some cool just little run-off series they just do on their, just put it on YouTube. Do it that way.
The reason I said novel because I'd like to see it fleshed out further that I don't think animation could do
Oh
properly.
yeah.
I think it would be a great.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a fucking great team of writers in Star Wars right now. Kevin Scott, Claudia Gray, um, Lydia Kane. I know. Sorry, I'm messing up. There's so Alyssa Wong. There are so many amazing authors from the comics to the books and in between. Charles Soule. Oh, there's so many amazing authors, and the books are just going to get better and better and better and better,
Yeah.
which is going to help inspire, hopefully, or they'll just use those same writers to help like put things on the big screen. Because again, the High Republic. The other thing with the High Republic that I just can't get over is how quick they are to make you fall in love with a character and then kill them. Like no one is ever safe in the High Republic, no matter what. Fan favorite doesn't mean nothing. They will still more than likely die if they're not careful. And it's like there's so much more mortality. There's so much more realism in the High
I
Republic.
I hope we get that translated in the Acolyte, which
Hmm.
it seems like what little we've seen. It seems like going to be a bit darker and a bit more gritty.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see like gritty as in like I'm tired of this like um we get that with Andor and it made sense with Andor because of the timeline. But when we get Acolyte, I don't want to see this kind of like dark filter on
Yeah.
everything. Um, but I would like to see more like when it comes to like acting and emotions. I would see like darker in that instance. Even the
Yeah.
Jedi, if we see them, I like to see them more because the High Republic's a lot more violent um, than we get with the Republic because we get less pacifism.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of the in between of the old Republic, which was a very very violent,
Yeah.
and to the Republic. So that's what I would love to see more of that. More storylines where people are dying, in a meaningful way.
Right.
Um, I
Oh
mean,
man, yeah,
so
again, yeah, High Republic will give you every single death in there is a Jedi Master who you fell in love with 2 chapters ago, who's like, I
yeah.
must make the ultimate sacrifice to save these people because that is the Jedi way. And you're like, yeah, you guys are really good Jedi, but please stop dying.
I would love to see that kind of idea
Yeah,
in the Acolyte. I could see the headlines now, like Game of Thrones, Star Wars.
right. Pretty much,
Because
which, whatever, cool.
yeah, it's fine. Which would draw a lot of people into watching it. Because I'm afraid the Acolyte will go in the way of Andor, just because it's not a highly known series.
Hmm.
So hopefully it'll draw people in. If they do that with the shock factor with killing people off, that would be the way to do it. Because otherwise, because it's an unfamiliar territory, as we see the series that are unfamiliar territory don't really draw in the crowd.
Yeah.
So I would love to, because if we get more people watching Acolyte, that means we'll get Acolyte season two, bigger budget season two.
Yep.
We
More
saw
High
that with
Republic.
Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
And then and also yeah, if the Acolyte does well, then they'll dig deeper into the High Republic. So
And other dark side cults. Like, I mean, all the big Doctor Afra fans out there. We have like the Ascendancy, a group of people who had
yeah,
no connection to the Force, but created machines that could harness the dark side and use it. And like the Sith literally saw them as an actual threat and had to hunt them to extinction. It's like there are
yeah.
super
Look,
cool things out there.
I want to show that Disney that it's okay to break away from unfamiliar territory. That we
Right.
can go into these. I mean, they're showing that with the new movie lineup, with the new movies that are being
Yeah,
announced.
Dawn of the
Um,
Jedi, and then the sequel.
yeah, I wouldn't say that's really unfamiliar territory because they're still sticking with some of the
I
original characters.
true, but hopefully they'll get away from those original
Yeah.
stories. Then they'll be like, no, no, trust me, we've learned our lesson.
I would love to see Rey rewrite the Jedi Order.
Hmm.
'Cause she has no ties to it. She had a little training with Luke, but not really much. So I'd love to see if they, I'd love to see her fail. I'd love to see her succeed in her own way.
Mm.
Because she totally different, and I'd love to see that writing. I hope the writing is really well. I don't want to see anything fail. I'd love to see it succeed. I'd like the new Ray movie to be one of the best movies coming out
Right.
that we've had so far. That would be great, and it's possible.
And now they're going
So
to take time with it, and that's the point. Is they're seeing
yeah,
it's the writing. Don't try to put out a summer blockbuster every 2 years just because that's what people sell and it puts butts in seats. Make a good written, well produced story, put it out, and then the fans will literally rewatch it so many times it's gonna pay for itself far more than 3 okay movies in the span of 8 years versus 2 or 3 amazing movies in the span of 10 years.
I think they're gonna struggle with. I think this won't be as a big blockbuster,
Yeah,
just because the ending sequel movies weren't as well received.
right.
But if the movie's good enough, you will draw in the fans.
Yeah, if you
So
build it, they will come.
I mean, there's always the fans like me and you that will watch it regardless.
Yeah.
So
I'm down. I don't care what they put out. Like, let's go. That's why I also, again, like I said, I love the behind the scenes stuff too.
I mean, I
Um,
grew up. We grew up with episode one,
mm,
and we both watched it, and I still don't think it's that as terrible a movie as some people. I mean, it's got its quirks, sure,
yeah.
but I mean, it's a product of its time, just like the original movies were.
And that's the thing. That's what I always kind of thought when the sequels came out. I'm like, this is just the same thing that happened when the prequels came out. A lot of people hate them at first, and then they'll eventually kind of make a little bit more sense. Don't worry about it. There's still personal gripes everyone can have with it, which is fine. And that's one of the biggest things too. Is it's like never once are any of us trying to say that you're not allowed to enjoy or not enjoy the thing in which others do or do not enjoy. It's mostly just we're gonna be civil about it. That's the big kicker for the fandom that people like. I wouldn't say make fun of Star Wars fans, but they're really like, wow, what a toxic dump that place is. It's like it's not really. It's just like every other place though. It's these dipshits with the loudest voice and the most Twitter followers. They're just
Yeah.
they're mean.
Well,
That's how they got there.
even Twitter, even with any fandom, because how Twitter is you're in an echo chamber,
Yeah.
and then you get these small media that are like that would cover Star Wars, that are
Mm-hmm.
like gamer media or whatever, and they're usually small, and then they reference these tweets that not many people are actually paying attention to, just so they can reinforce like, hey, Star Wars fans hate Star Wars, and then it's like this random tweet from, Anakin hater 1-2. I hated that movie. Oh look, proof that Star Wars fans hate. And then you look at Celebration, and see how many people attended Star Wars
Yep.
Celebration in London. Um, it, or in any Star Wars Celebration, there's a lot of fans, and that's expensive and not easy to go to, and they still have a ton of people
Yep.
that
And
travel.
no one has ever once been booed or nothing off stage. Never once. Even when Daisy Ridley came out, everyone cheered and screamed. It was like, "Oh my gosh, heck yeah!" Because
I didn't
we're
hear too
fans.
anything that I don't remember. I don't think I read anything bad happening at the
Oh no,
convention. I don't.
there was one of those same slam stupid articles that was like
Yeah.
Daisy Ridley gets mild reaction. I was like, what? What were you watching? Because I've seen live streams and she got an uproar of a
They're,
reaction.
they're probably watching like the stream of the stream,
Yeah,
where it's like they had the separate, where it's like they did a local, but it was like it's like a convention watching the convention,
right. It just lagged
and
out.
there wasn't a lot of people excited just because it was hard to watch some of it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Star Wars is still it's bigger than has been, honestly. With all this content, I mean,
Mm.
going down your local stores, there's always Star Wars things.
Yes.
I'm getting a
There's
little
always
tired of
something
seeing
new.
Grogu, but it's not bad.
Well, he's about to get
Just
replaced with oh, what is that little blue guy from Young Jedi Adventures name? He's played by D.
oh
Bradley Baker, but that little blue,
yeah,
almost a Wookiee, almost an Ewok, stupid powerful. By the way, he is like
yeah.
super strength.
I only seen the first episode, and yeah, they definitely, you see that a lot in the first
Yeah,
episode.
he's gonna be the new
Like
thing.
he's the blue koala bear looking
Yeah,
guy.
that is the new future of Star Wars merchandising: buttons, stickers, pins,
It's not to the hate
bumper
Grogu.
stickers.
It's just they have merchandised him into
A
nothing.
joke. No, it's literally
It's
like
so
a
much.
joke almost.
He's like, there's literally, you name it, there's a Grogu version of it.
Yep.
Oh,
Waffle
speaking of
maker, coffee
weird
mugs.
merchandise, I would say weird but cool. If you use the Amazon devices, the home devices, they have
Mm-hmm.
the new Star Wars ones that are pretty. I don't know if you've seen them yet.
No.
They have a Darth Vader one. They're for the new speakers.
Okay.
Um, that you basically connect with Alexa. And they have the round speakers, and they have three of them. There's the Darth Vader, Mandalorian. It looks kind of like Din, but it's almost a really dark colored, almost black. And then they
Oh
have
yeah.
a stormtrooper helmet, and you put it inside the head, when the dome of the speaker kind of covers the head. Cool thing is there's a ring light that encircles, and when she talks, when you talk to it, it lights up and it kind of moves.
Oh yeah.
So that the eyes are hollow, and you could see, well, it's like a film behind it, and you could see the light. looks the best on the Stormtrooper because of the blue.
Oh,
Looks kind of
yeah.
weird with Darth Vader. I don't think you could turn it red, but if you could, it'd look better. But
Right.
I kind of want to buy one. They're a little expensive, but
Hmm. Yeah, I know the other big thing was Shop Disney had a lot of stuff for the
yes,
40th anniversary Return of the
they
Jedi.
had the new expensive lightsaber.
Yes, they had Cal Kestis' new lightsaber, but they also had like a backpack, uh, a Leia's poncho. You know, ponchos are all
Yes,
the rage right now, and then the
all
ball
the
cap. And
art
I was lucky enough to
Return of
pick
the
up the ball
Jedi,
cap. I'm happy.
the Return of the Jedi merchandise.
Yeah,
That was
40th
really good.
anniversary merchandise. So I got one of the ball caps that has the indoor what
There's
is it?
the
Color scheme.
If you look in the chat I shared what the image looks like, by the way.
Oh yeah. But it's been a good time, and you know there's still probably a few other places running specials till the end of the weekend and stuff.
Yeah,
It's been an amazing time to pick up merchandise, and again, you know, I'll look forward to having these figure. I'll be unboxing Luthen here soon, and then I got the prototype Mandalorian figure to review in the TVC card. I gotta read Path of Vengeance. That's a new book. Gotta finish Jedi Survivor. Still haven't beaten that game, even though I've been going crazy on it so far. Uh, Visions was awesome. What a great
yeah,
little like blurb of fun Star Wars to kind of like whet our appetites until Ahsoka, because that's the next thing, right? We're not really getting
yeah.
anything until Ahsoka now.
Uh, Ahsoka and then Skeleton Crew, I believe, are the next two.
But lots of books. Like seriously, guys, even if you don't want to read, like I'm not a huge reader myself. I do most of them on Audible. I cannot tell you enough how awesome these books are. I need to get the shirt that says narrated by Mark Thompson because if I could ever get him to like sign that shirt, that would be the most amazing thing ever. Mark Thompson does such a great job with all those audiobooks.
You have,
And
I believe, until August for Ahsoka, but you
okay,
got a little
August.
bit. You
I
got
know
a little
before
bit
then
of
though we do have again comics. So
yeah.
many. Look forward to those coming out, guys. I'm actually going to be changing the format of my comic review. Instead of doing a singular 4 to like 5, maybe 8-minute video per one comic, from now on I'm just going to read all of the comics that came out that week and do like a nice 12-minute episode where I'm just going to go over all of it. If I'll do basic reviews and then go into more of like a hey, if you don't want to read this, here's what happens. This is pretty cool.
Start your own book club.
Yeah, start my little book
Yeah.
club, and it's a comic book club, so the books are far cheaper. The books are only $3,
And
$4. You know?
there's pictures for those that don't like reading
Yeah,
a
real
lot.
big pictures, lots of pictures. I actually have to finish the Nameless Terror adventures tonight, and I've pretty much been caught up on all the new awesome stuff that just came out this last Wednesday. So I need to get that reviewed before this Wednesday. But man, I had like 8 things come out last Wednesday. We also had the Lando comic come out last Wednesday, which is like connecting of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, which was awesome. Love if I could ever get Billy D. Williams to sign it. That's a signature I'm gonna need to get before cruel Mr. Fate takes another icon away from us.
Yeah, I know those originally teased to do a movie based on him, but
Yeah,
I guess Solo kind of beat. Solo didn't do so hot. They didn't want to follow with that.
which sucks 'cause again, Solo was in that weird like purgatory stage of Star Wars where people were still like, I don't know, I don't trust you guys anymore. Had it come out now, I guarantee you it would have had a better reaction. It was the most toxic time of Star Wars when Solo
Yeah,
came out. It was horrible timing for that movie. And not that the movie shouldn't have come out. It was just
and
that it
it
suffered
wasn't
greatly
it
because of
wasn't
it.
promoted very well either.
It wasn't promoted well. It was I don't know why it was received poorly because people gave it this weird like everything in Star Wars now though. They gave it this weird preconception of what it needed to be and refused to accept that that's not what it was going to turn into. Like
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people do with the Star Wars stuff and that's the thing that kind of pisses me off the most where it's like who are you to sit there and say this is what this episode has to be or I'm not going to watch it? Then don't. Bye. Cool. I
yeah.
just
It was a bad timing, bad promotion, and then
yeah.
people had the idea. I guess
And again, it was
because
rushed. They were just like put another Star Wars movie out.
well, there's so much. There was a lot of good stuff with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's great character designs. I love the early war scenes with
Yeah. Mimban
I
and
thought was
stuff.
pretty cool. Yeah, and then of course I'm still upset that we don't get to see anything on footage about the Black Sun at the end.
Yeah.
So we kind of get left. I mean, I know they are. I believe aren't they doing a comic, not a comic, a novel based on her now?
Yes, there is going to be a
Yeah,
Kira comic coming out where she
yeah.
is trained by Darth Maul. But yeah, we could have seen that in
I'd
live
rather.
action. That would have been
Yeah, I'd
so
rather.
cool.
It'd be cool to see a series based on Black Sun. But we won't.
Yeah, nope. Like even like with Sons of Dathomir, what an amazing comic that was. Like there's so many cool things we could
Yeah.
have gotten there, but people wanted to cry because it wasn't Harrison Ford. Like that could
Yeah,
never happen.
he doesn't want to. Yeah, he's kind of tired of playing
Anything.
solo. Oh yeah, anything in general.
I'm
But
sure they threw a lot of money at him to become Indiana Jones again.
well, yeah, that was the thing too when he was saying he kind of almost begged to get his character killed because I mean he's done a lot of acting. He's older. Yeah, I'm sure you get to a certain age, the
Yeah.
whole atmosphere of filming, of constantly refilming over and over and over again, and
Well, especially when you come from the time of the good old boys clubs, you're
yeah.
like, I am gonna get myself canceled if I go anywhere near an intern. So let's just get rid of this now. I'm just gonna bite the bullet now.
Yeah. Yeah, and Han Solo, the character, yeah, it's just people wanted the same character from the
Yeah.
movie, but you're not gonna get the same. It's him
Yeah, he has
younger
to
and it's
develop into that guy.
yeah, I think going back, I still think the movie was actually I don't think it was too bad.
Yeah, I agree.
I enjoyed it. I even when it came out, I thought it was actually a pretty decent movie. I was surprised. And it's kind of like that with Rogue One. I thought the movie was pretty good
Yeah.
and it wasn't that well received. I think people just were expecting your classic Skywalker adventure, and
Oh, like always,
yeah,
everything has got to be lightsaber swords, explosions, and war. And it's like that was a very small time frame of the galaxy far, far away. Like the Clone Wars itself was what, like 3 years, 4 years, if even. It wasn't a very long time.
and as you can see, bringing back Mark Hamill, which he's a great actor in his
Yeah.
own, but times have changed.
Yep.
He's not the same young, inexperienced actor that he was when he first filmed Star Wars.
How do you
He's a
feel though about
totally
all this
different
deep
person.
fake stuff? Do you think are you okay with him continuing the line of deep fake? Like I don't hate it, but at the same time that just I don't think they need to keep getting better and better because that would just insinuate that they're going to continue to just use dead people in movies and
Yeah.
stop and get away from it. We don't ever need to see Princess
Do
Leia
new,
on the screen again.
yeah, do new characters. There's so much room in the galaxy.
Hmm.
That's one thing I'm hoping that Acolyte does so well. That shows that we don't need to see familiar faces to have a
Right.
good show. And into a rumor there's supposed to be deep fake in Ahsoka. If I remember, I think Luke's supposed to be in it. If I'm
Okay.
not,
That makes
I'm not
sense.
sure.
That makes sense.
I'd rather not see Luke at all.
Yeah, I agree.
We could still have a great show without seeing Luke, without
Hmm.
seeing Leia, without seeing Tarkin. You can show the impact of how impressive something is without showing Tarkin.
Right.
I mean, heck, we get the big blue guy. Fans know who he is. You don't. It's okay. The other fans will catch up and they realize once he shows up and he does the stuff that he does. If you do him right, um, where he's the ultimate chess match with that guy.
Oh,
Um,
Throne's going to be so good.
so we don't. It's okay. You can have a new bad guy. We don't
Yeah.
have to have something referencing Sidious. We don't have to see a fake version of Leia. Carrie Fisher is gone. We all miss her. But
But hey, again, happy May the 4th.
let's
She literally just got
yeah.
her Hollywood star. That was awesome. So, there's another
Yes,
great thing
yes.
that happened. She got her own
Look,
Hollywood star.
I'm
Put it
sh-
to rest.
well knowing her how she embraced Ray
Mm,
or Daisy Ridley.
yeah.
Uh, she embraced Daisy Ridley as an actor, as a friend. She loves embracing new people into Star Wars. let other people try.
Yeah,
Let us get new Leias. Let us get new Han Solos, but not the same character with a new face. Um,
or a
new
fake
new.
face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get Star Wars is an opera. But we don't have to take the storyline repeating itself literally all the time.
Right.
It's okay, and we've shown that leaving the cookie cutter Star Wars storyline works.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen great storytelling. We've seen great character design. Use it,
Right.
or come up with some others. I mean, but heck, we still have great characters that even with Jedi Survivor, a lot of these characters are using because it's a lot of the games are using the mapping of real people's faces. A lot of
I
these characters you can bring into the
Yeah.
live action.
And I gotta say though, IGN is not lying when they say if there is a third game, the Jedi Survivor Fallen Order trilogy or whatever the Cal Kestis story could easily be one of the greatest trilogies since you know like all time almost. It is such a great story. The story of Cal Kestis and Marin and Seer and Grease and all of them, the Empire. It is an awesome story, and they did it right without touching a single person we know except for Darth Vader because he just made a cameo.
So that was one thing I did. There's two things I like about Force Unleashed that Survivor does better, or the series, the
Yeah,
Jedi series, I guess is what it's called now, did better. Force Unleashed was a great, fun game, but two things: one, they just played too close to home with Darth Vader and Sidious and some of the other characters, which made it crazy at the end of
yeah,
Force Unleashed 2 because it was a half-finished game. Um, and then also the scale of things, it was really cool to do some things like pull the um, like
pull a
some of
Star
the
Destroyer into
yeah, Star
orbit,
Destroyer out of the
stop it,
sky, but it was
crush
just too
things.
insane
Yeah,
to be realistic within the realm of Star Wars. Like if you want to make a character that does that and work with Darth Vader, why don't we see him in the movie? Why
mm-hmm,
doesn't Impact ever show up? And they don't really show that. They show great impact and made this weird, like insane, which is cool for a game, but I don't know for a classic person like me, I would like more of like with Jedi, where it's more down to earth, but he still has his own cool storyline. Also,
oh
the
yeah,
good thing about they do that is, and they do that the second ones, they allow more customization, so
yep,
you get a lot more of your personality in the second one while keeping. It's kind of a mix between um how they did the Hogwarts Legacies,
yeah,
where you can make your own character, but while still being Cal Kestis,
right,
because you can really customize him how he looks, and you can do his fighting style, and so it's kind of like that,
yeah,
and it works well, so you don't have to do a bunch of voice actors,
it's true.
um, but you still get your own touch in on it.
And
So yeah,
again, yeah, bring Cameron into live action. I would love to see Cal Kestis.
we
Imagine,
he's
Cal
we could.
Kestis, Ezra
It's
Bridger,
not hard to
Ray.
do. We
Those
have
three would be awesome.
Cal, we
Quinlan
have the
Voss,
actor that looks. They literally mapped his face. He looks
right?
exactly like that.
That is the guy.
Do him why he is still acting. Do it why he is still willing to do the character. Um, I mean, it would be cool to see an older version of him down the road,
Right.
but do it now. The people are loving the character, even though they had not the best launch.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the backstory of that. It's still a great game. It's the game out right now.
Yep.
It's the one. I can't think of a game. I mean, there was another vampire game that came out that flopped miserably.
Oh yeah,
I can't.
Redfall.
Yeah, I can't think of any other game that can compete with it right now.
Yeah,
Um,
it's doing really well. And so is Star Wars. Again,
yeah.
all the media in Star Wars right now is hot. It's just coming out good. And that is promising. That is the point. Take that as a good sign and realize
Yes.
that
Yeah.
with positivity and with just like, hey, guess what? Kathleen Kennedy was also like the go ahead behind a lot of the other things that were good. So it's not like she's literally trying to sabotage Star Wars. No one is trying to take Star Wars and run it into the ground.
If if anything, the advice you could take from today, try new stuff. Look
Yes.
into the other stuff of Star Wars. It doesn't have to be a movie in theaters. It doesn't have to be Din Djarin. It doesn't have to be Luke Skywalker. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
You can find so many amazing characters that you love. And if you love a specific thing, if you're like, oh, I love Inquisitors. Hey, guess what? Yeah, I think next month, Rise of the Red Blade, a Inquisitor-led story, a book is coming out. Boom. There you go. On Audible and probably through Amazon and all kinds of other publishing agencies. So like pick that up. Boom, you have another thing all about Inquisitors and the dark side. That's so cool.
My favorite thing is kind of on a dry spell, but I'm okay with it. My favorite things that I love the troopers. I love
Yeah.
the combat, but
Sadly, I don't think the clones are going to get anything unless it's like more
it doesn't
Clone
have to be the
Wars.
clones, but we're not gonna get a good Battlefront game for a while.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully soon like I mean, there's EA or someone is working on that big MMO, or not MMO, but RPG, and then I think there's supposed to be another shooter. You can always play Fortnite. That apparently got a huge Star Wars update.
I love that meme where it says you could be Anakin, and it's like I'm gonna go kill some children now.
Yeah. Oh, and for everyone who's making the silly joke about like Young Jedi Adventures, we're like, oh, wait till Anakin shows up. It's like, I don't think you guys understand when the High Republic is. Just in case you're not sure, that's hundreds of years before Anakin.
It's confusing because you see Yoda, but
He's
Yoda.
like 900 in the original trilogy. Bruh's old. So again, try new things. Star Wars is in its own renaissance, much like the High Republic. Can't wait to see more of that. And Revenge of the Fifth was amazing. As Sith, we are greedy. We also have the Revenge of the Sixth next, to tomorrow, just in case, even unless you didn't want to celebrate it today because you were more into the Cinco de Mayo vibe.
So Disney Plus might get a dry spell for a couple months.
Yeah.
There's still content out there. There's the games. There's the comics. There's the novels that are still coming out.
Yes, and good old-fashioned speculation where we're gonna sit here and just be like, what could possibly happen though?
And then there's the Young Adventures.
Yes.
It's actually not that bad of a show. You don't have to have a kid. I don't have any children. I'm gonna probably end up watching it
Right.
from time to
It's
time.
still it's bright and shiny and entertaining. You're like, you could turn your brain off and just watch some Star Wars.
It turned out that there's like some really deep secret lore drops.
Oh, dude, I hope just to be like, haha, that's what you get for not watching.
There are kids shows that are like really deep. Like they did that with Adventure Time and some other shows where there's like super deep lore that like it like presents like a kid show, and then next thing you know, like this is some like deep writing that you just hide in here, and it almost seems that way. I'm guessing here, but it could be.
You never know. Yoda could drop some mad lore wisdom. Watch Young Jedi Adventures is where we learn Yoda's species name. Because the little kid is like curious and asks him, because who else would besides a youngling?
We get the kind of, there's already a villain that's kind of shown up.
Almost Martian.
It
looks very Markian
in the promo material for it. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna watch some of that.
I can't wait to watch it
because I would like to.
But
I can't wait to watch it with my dog.
Yeah, it's been an amazing Star Wars days, and it's only gonna get better from here. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I look forward to dropping more and more videos on the channel here soon as I get everything edited from my little hiatus of filming. Thank you all so much. It's always a blast to have these amazing talks with you. Put in the comments whatever you want to talk about with Star Wars. We have so many things to come up with, and you could help us create a whole segment in our next podcast. So as always, have an amazing rest of your day, and may the Force serve you well.
May the Force be with you. Cool comments on that one. Did you get any viewers on that one?
We had up to 4. It was actually doing pretty good there.
Well, one of them's always me, so.
Yeah, and there was me. So I was thinking maybe Josh. I forgot to tell him about it.
Yeah. Hey,